you still hungover from the Natty?
Well, snap out of it, pal. It's time to do it again.
The road to another championship season starts today.
This is the Crown Automotive Group in Dublin Fan Tailgate Show.
Live from FanFest outside St. John Arena.
Yeah, what she said.
All right, last time we were pre-gaming it, we were watching the Ohio State high-powered offense take out Notre Dame in the national title game. Buckeyes capturing first national title in about a decade, first under Coach Ryan Day, and it was the school's 7th overall. They get the hardware today as the evidence, and this is going to be an awesome day. Beautiful day for a spring game. Anthony Rothman with you on campus, back on campus with my man Dave Biddle, Bucknuts.com, host of On the Money, the veteran beat reporter Tim May as always, and the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels, all varsity jacketed up for this one. Good to see you, fellas.
It's always good to be around you guys.
Always good to be here.
Yeah, good to see you, Anthony. Good to see you two legends over there as well.
All
three of you legends.
A lot of questions, a lot of answers, hopefully, that we'll get maybe this afternoon. We'll start with the voice of the Buckeyes. Your approach to calling a spring game is what, my man?
Worried about people you know nothing about getting in the game. Because the people we're all familiar with probably aren't going to play very much. And it's kind of hard to really prepare for this like you do for a regular game. But, curious to see what happens as far as rotation of those who will play, like on the defensive line. What happens with maybe some wide receivers that are going to break into a little bit of a rotation. Oh, and yeah, by the way, then there's the quarterback situation.
Yeah. Tim, you've been around practice a lot, so is Dave. We'll get to you guys on this one. The neck and neck that Ryan Day has labeled his quarterback competition. Where are you on that? How close is it?
Number one, Ryan Day's the guy who finally makes the decision on who the starting quarterback is, so I take him at his word. Number two, we got to watch about like an hour and a half of practice yesterday in Ohio Stadium. It was blustery cold, and once again, just like the previous Saturday, I thought Lincoln Keynotes had the better day. Throwing the ball, running the offense. It was situational and all that kind of baloney. But the bottom line is that anybody that thinks this is a slam dunk the other way hasn't been paying attention, number one, to what they've seen, and number two, to what's been said. So I think it's accurate. That doesn't mean it's going to be that way in the fall, but I think this is going to August before they figure it out. The good thing for Paul is they're going to be offense versus defense today, and not like some of those old spring games where guys are running back and forth across the field playing for each team, and stuff. But I think making it offense-defense today, and that's, as I call it, the Stableford scoring system, enhances it because you get to see, in essence, good on good and next good on good and stuff. And it'll be a good showcase, pardon the pun, for these two quarterbacks.
Dave, I think that the narrative going into spring was that potentially this was Julian Sain's job to lose, and then Lincoln would have to take it from him. But I think for the Buckeye fans listening, it would be nice to talk about the difference between these two guys. Julian's a little smaller than him, maybe a little more of a pocket guy. Lincoln's this all-around athlete that might possess a little more of the mobility, physicality that we've seen in Will Howard. So there are differences slightly between the two.
Yeah, and Lincoln, this is his third year just focusing on football. After being, the USA Today National Athlete of the Year, played basketball, played baseball, was fantastic at all. He could play college baseball easily if he wanted to. So now he's just been focusing on football for 3 years. And if you would have asked me, coming into spring, if Ryan Day said it's neck and neck, I'd say he's probably just saying that. It's probably Julian is a little ahead. But like what Tim was saying, we've got a chance to watch practices, and it does. I mean, if anything, Lincoln's looked a little better than Julian. Now, if I had to put my money on it, I still think Julian Sain's going to be the starting quarterback, but I also think this is a legit competition, and I think either one of these guys can take this team where it needs to go, especially with this offensive line, the way they build it up with the two transfers and the guys coming back. I think they're going to have a good offensive line, good running game. And last time I checked, guys, they got some good receivers on this team too.
Yeah,
so I think they're going to be okay, but I do take Coach Day at his word that this is a very close competition.
Yeah, the word I used after that scrimmage the other day, the Student Appreciation Day scrimmage, was Lincoln just looked more comfortable. I mean, Julian looked, a little frantic at times, etc. And Lincoln, number three, anybody thinks he can't throw the ball isn't paying attention. I mean, matter of fact, yesterday he looked the best at just the actual art of throwing the football, and he's improved himself. He's almost 30 pounds heavier than he was when he showed up almost 3 years ago and stuff. I mean, he is bound, determined to be competitive in this race, and I think right now I'd say he's leading it, but it is still very early.
Paul, Ryan Day has thrown out that great phrase he likes to throw out, make the routine play routinely. So this may come down to talent combined with trust, who he trusts the most. They don't have the same ramp-up this year as they had last year with Akron, Western Michigan, and Marshall. They get Texas right out of the gate. So give me your thoughts on that, about trust versus talent and how much he'll weigh that.
Well, the translation, Anthony, for that is who can take care of the ball the best. And that was always what he's talked about, he being Ryan Day, in any of these quarterback decisions in recent years. And it was something that generally Will Howard was very good at. So whether it's Julian Sayin, whether it's Lincoln Keenholz, if they can take care of the ball and not have repetitive mistakes with turnovers, that's going to be something that will be a big part of deciding. And, and let's understand, too, this isn't a decision that's going to be made after today for a number of reasons, mostly because of what Tim talked about. But also, if you're a coaching staff, you want to keep both of these players hungry and keep them involved in trying to sharpen their skills.
Yeah, absolutely. And like yesterday, in that what we got to watch in the stadium, Julian Sayin had a couple of fumbles almost back-to-back where you have to take a lap, And one of the quality control quarterback coaches ran with him. And then Lincoln had just a classic mistake, anticipate everything's going to be like it is, and throws an interception that Jermaine Matthews picks off going about 50 miles an hour the other direction. So both of these guys are still finding their way, is the best way of putting it. But and we're just going on what we've seen. And, anybody that, like I said, thought it was just going to be slam dunk Julian Sayin all the way, hasn't been paying attention.
The other thing, Paul, it's interesting, and I'll bring Dave in as well on this, Will Howard carried it over 100 times last year. So the design of the offense, of keeping the quarterback run game in this, Dave, where does that lean? Which quarterback?
Yeah, I think that was something Ryan Day shied away from a little bit. You can understand why when he had C.J. Stroud, wasn't really confident in the backup quarterbacks. But I think, with Chip Kelly being here last year, kind of took him out of his shell, and I think that's going to remain part of the offense. And listen, Julian can run the ball. There's no doubt about it. He's not a statue back there, but Lincoln is bigger, like you were saying. He is a better runner. So, and I think that has to be a big part of your goal line offense, because if you take the quarterback run out, that just gives the defense such an advantage. If you keep the quarterback running, that gives you the advantage. So I think they're going to keep that in the offense. These guys are not going to be as good as Will Howard was at that. Will Howard, obviously 6'4", 235 pounds, was a fifth-year senior. But I think Lincoln especially can be a good running quarterback this year if need be.
Paul, about 450 carries leave that building with Travion, Quinshawn, and Will Howard. So the percentage will be interesting this year. Well,
and also the fact that you saw having both of those two last year in a long season, how that helps. So if James Peoples, if Sam Williams-Dixon, if C.J. Donaldson, if they can help share that load, share the wear and tear that position handles, then that can go a long way with the hope of having another long season.
Yeah, and do not leave out Bo Jackson.
Right.
Right. Neither the Hall of Famer nor this young man who's the freshman running back. I'm telling you, he has stood out the two times we've gotten to watch real live action.
We just got to get him to change numbers to 34.
Yeah.
I even asked him about that. You and I were both asking about that.
He said Snow's number.
He's like, I'm like, have you thought about it? He's like, yeah, I've thought about it. We got to get him to wear the number 34. But yeah, Bo Jackson does look good. And I tell you, James Peoples, I feel like we're not talking about him enough. But they're not going to be as good as the best tailback tandem I've ever seen at Ohio State. I missed Archie and Pete. That's the gold standard, obviously. But Trey and Q, that's as good as I've seen. So they're not going to be that good.
No.
But I think James Peoples and C.J. Donaldson are going to be a good 1-2 punch. And hopefully number 34, right now number 25, Bo Jackson, he's going to be a good number 3 as a true freshman, no doubt about it.
Absolutely. I call James Peoples the people's choice. Everybody's got a nickname. I'm just saying, at quarterback, we'll see if that happens. But yeah, Bo Jackson needs no nickname.
Well, both young quarterbacks.
His parents thought of that at birth.
Will be leaning into their running game maybe this year. We got plenty more to discuss. Of course, we'll have the former All-American Jim Lachey with us. Tyvis Powell, the former national champ, will stop by as well. We'll come back more with the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels, as we kind of dive into some position battles in the spring game. This is the Crown Automotive Group in Dublin Fan Tailgate Show, presented by Crown Automotive Group in Dublin. Your go-to for sales and service for Mercedes-Benz, Ineos, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram, right here on The Fan.
Wake up with the Fan. Eat lunch with the Fan. Go to bed with the Fan. Dream about the Fan. Then change your sheets. Gross.
Ew, you guys are gross, but stick around in case I don't find anyone else.
The Fan.
College Common Man here for Weed Man. I always have the greenest lawn in the neighborhood. It's luscious. I swear by two things, water and Weed Man. Weed Man is locally owned and operated by Corbin and Audrey. They will make sure your lawn is weed-free and looking gorgeous. Of course, they get rid of weeds, but they also do aeration, mosquito control, grub control, crabgrass prevention, and flea and tick control for your four-legged friends. For a free quote, give them a call, 614-733-3747, weedmanusa.com. Tell them Common Man sent you.
Plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, and HVAC techs. It's time to get what you deserve. Join a team that offers better wages, secure pensions, employee-paid health care, and free training and continuing education. Apprentices, you'll earn while you learn. No student debt, just a solid future. It's more than a job, it's a career. Visit UALocal189.com and take the first step today.
We've all been there. You come home after a long day, only to find water dripping from the ceiling. Your roof has decided it's had enough. And now, frustration sets in. Another unexpected problem added to your never-ending to-do list. At Newman Roofing, we get it. That's why we make the process simple and stress-free, handling every detail with professionalism, so you don't have to worry and can get back to the things that matter most to you. So, how do you begin? Step 1. Schedule your free estimate by calling our office at 614-NEW-ROOF or visiting our website, newmanroofing.com. Step 2. Meet with one of our trusted representatives who will guide you through the best plan for your home. Step 3. We get to work, and you watch your roof transform before your very eyes. Whether it's your roof, gutters, or siding, the Newman Roofing team is here to guide and support you every step of the way. Call today at 614-NEW-ROOF to schedule your free estimate and experience the Newman Roofing difference. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
All of our local shows have been ranked in the top 10 in the country by our industry peers, except for Timmy Hall and the Buckeye Show. I was going to make a joke about it, but it's more sad than anything. Poor Timmy, the fan.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Buy 2 windows, get 2 free. No limit. Pay no interest till 2030 plus $500 off your home improvement project. Restrictions apply. Call them today. 614-502-5220. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Buy now with pre-tariff pricing at Coughlin Kia. Lease a new 2025 Kia K4, just $195 a month plus taxes and fees. Or choose low 1.9% financing for 60 months on a new 2025 Kia Sportage or Sorrento. Visit CoughlinKia.com.
Coughlin has the car for you.
1.9% for 60 months equals $18.37 per 1,000 with approved credit through Kia Motor Finance. 24-month lease, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents per mile over. 2025 due. Excludes $250 dock fee, $400 disposition fee at lease end. No security deposit. See dealer for details. Ends 4/30/25.
The Bobcat National Sales Event is happening now at Bobcat Enterprises. Get up to $10,000 in rebates or choose financing as low as 0% for 60 months on the industry's most comfortable compact loaders. See Bobcat Enterprises in Hilliard, Reynoldsburg, or Zanesville today for incredible savings during the National Sales Event and find the current specials and full line of products at bobcatent.com.
Some restrictions apply. Length of contract and rate may vary. Offer ends June 30th, 2025.
Bobcat Enterprises, celebrating 50 years of serving you.
Picture this. You walk into a Tim Hortons and get a warm toasted English muffin or a buttery biscuit layered with fluffy fresh cracked eggs, melty cheese, and savory sausage or bacon. Now imagine that breakfast sandwich for just $3 when you buy any size coffee, hot or cold, because when you're running on empty, you want a breakfast that does more than just fills you up. So start your morning with Tim's, because you deserve a breakfast that's as good as your day is going to be. Limited time at participating U.S. restaurants. Offer valid only during breakfast hours. Exclusions apply. Additional terms apply.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We're looking ahead to a mix of clouds and sunshine here for Saturday afternoon. High temperatures into the middle 50s. And then for tonight, mostly clear and patchy frost with lows down into the lower 30s. And then by our Sunday, we're tracking an increase in cloud cover with a slight chance for a couple rain showers. Otherwise dry with highs into the upper 50s. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm meteorologist Aaron White on 97.1 The Fan.
Live from FanFest outside of St. John Arena, it's the Crown Automotive Group in Dublin
Fan Tailgate Show.
Yeah, perfect day for a little spring football, celebrating a national title. The the house that Harley built, and a brand new team. We've heard a little bit of a dynamic. They want to separate after the ring ceremony. Then it's turn the page, man. It's on to this team in 25 and 26. I'm not saying guys like, Jeremiah and Caleb don't like seeing the banners and celebrating the national title, but they're guys that want to make their mark this year. I think that's very important. They don't want to live off of last year. They want to live up to last year. I think there's a pretty big difference. Paul Keel's with me, Tim May as well, and my man Dave Biddle. Guys, they lose a 1,000-yard receiver in Emeka Ibuka. I know we could just add those 1,000 yards to Jeremiah Smith if we want and make him a 2,000-yard receiver.
Wow.
Or we could talk about guys like Brandon Innes and the others and guys that are ready to break out, Dave.
Yeah, I think Brandon Innes is headed for a breakout year, and I'm not breaking news there. I mean, he's taking over for Emeka in that slot, and they're moving guys around. They're moving Jeremiah around. He'll play in the slot some. Brandon will play some on the outside. He's waited his turn. He was a big-time prospect. He was ready to play last year. He just had three really good guys ahead of him. Still played a decent amount as that number 4 guy. I think he's going to have a big year. And then who's going to step up as that 4, 5, and 6? Mylan Graham's having a good spring. Porter obviously got his black stripe removed. They still have Bryson Rogers. So they have some good depth there. But as we all know, if you're not in that top 3, Brian Hartline's probably not going to put you on the field very much unless there's injury. So if you're not in that top 3, you're probably not going to play very much. But Brandon Innes, I expect him to have a big year. Looks like he's slimmed down a little bit. Looks faster and quicker. And he's a tough guy. He's going to have a big-time year as a junior, in my opinion.
I think he's down like 10 or 15 pounds. He's down to 201. He told us the other day. Number 2, you got to remember, and I know you do, he had some big plays last year in that run, especially at Penn State and some other games. And, he's a demon when it comes to blocking. He has paid his dues. He's considered a leader in that wide receiver room, even though statistically he'd like to have more catches and stuff. But you're right. I think this is a big moment for Brandon Innes. He's had some nagging injuries in the past that have also held him back to a certain extent. But, it's funny because Jeremiah Smith, we were talking to him the other day, and he made a funny comment. Because they've been using him in the slot a little bit and stuff too, kind of spice things up. And he says he's really looking forward to some of those one-on-ones with linebackers or safeties because in his mind he beats them all day long. And we saw in the Rose Bowl, for example, when they got one of those, he breaks wide open on a safety, not used to dealing with him. So there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be like nuanced, different about this offense, not the least of which is their offensive coordinator.
Paul, we know from last year that Carnell Tate is certainly a household name here in Columbus. The nation started to learn about him last year, but then you'll have to be calling guys like Quincy Porter and Mylan Graham and some new guys that want to get in that mix. But Carnell Tate may be not the best-kept secret here in Columbus, but maybe around the nation.
I think everybody remembers just how emotional the whole team was that he had the 2-touchdown game in Northwestern playing in his hometown, considering everything that he had been through. But that's part of what is going to be interesting not only today but through the course of the summer, because as we've seen with so many of these other receivers that come through, they earn their bones on special teams, whether it's making tackles, blocking, things like that. So that's where really the opportunity for guys to get further up the chain in the evaluation of the coaches on special teams is what they can do there.
Yeah, and you got to moderate that roundtable the other night at the coaches clinic, and Carnell Tate was up there. Mm-hmm. Carnell Tate has really emerged as a leader in that room, and somebody, as he even pointed out, somebody has to kind of take the spot because we talk about Emeka Ibuka and the catches record and the yardage and all that kind of stuff. That guy was a tremendous presence on this football team, and especially in that wide receiver room. And whoever drafts him is going to get a guy that likes to be out front, likes to be talking to people. But Carnell Tate has really blossomed, I think, in the last year or so in that regard. And so, him unleashed is going to be interesting to watch.
That's one minor concern I have with this team is leadership. Now, maybe leadership will be great, but I can't remember an Ohio State team that had such great leadership as last year.
Yeah.
Will Howard, Emeka, Jack Sawyer. We could go on and on. Absolute just leaders of men. Lathan Ransom. We could go on and on. Who's going to be those guys this year? If it's Julian Sand, those are big shoes to fill, not just from a production standpoint, from a leadership standpoint with Will Howard. Like we're saying with Carnell Tate, can he be that leader that Emeka was? That's asking a lot. Where's the leadership going to be? Because last year had perfect leadership.
Yeah, but they've got,
Caleb Downs is a leader.
Downs
absolutely. They do have some leaders.
Yeah, they've got a guy that everybody in the entire nation and probably the free world respects in Jeremiah Smith, and he's slowly but surely coming out of his shell based on what we're hearing and stuff. And then you got a Carson Hinsman who was a starter 2 years ago, got put in the doghouse, we were never told why, specifically why the doghouse was. We had our own suspicions. And then when they needed desperately for somebody to come in and fill the void because of the injuries on the offensive line. Carson Hinsman steps up, and in the final 4 games, he's as big an MVP, he and Luke Montgomery, as anybody. But so you've got guys there ready to blossom, I think, as leaders, Carson Hinsman being one of them.
Paul, maybe two of the bigger changes of the team are not who they've lost, but kind of where they've come from as far as elevating Brian Hartline now in the young quarterback, and then Matt Patricia replacing Jim Knowles. So not only are we talking about new players in different places, but we got 2 new coordinators and the impact that they'll have, and the Ryan Day is putting his trust in them.
Well, from the offensive standpoint, when you think about Brian Hartline, who better to kind of grow into the coordinator role with is having Ryan Day as the head coach. And the Matt Patricia part of it, I think what that's going to be is a great meld of using what Larry Johnson can do, what Tim Walton has been, Matt Guerreri going into his second year, and then, James Laurinaitis. So I think there's certainly, for those guys, they're going to have their own fingerprints on it, but working in concert with all of those other coaches is going to be a great thing.
I agree. I like the Matt Patricia hire a lot. A lot of people poo-pooed it. I go, based on what? As his failings as a head coach at Detroit? I mean, when you're around this guy, I mean, you understand what he's all about. It's all about putting guys in position to make plays, being creative, right on down the line. I mean, there's so many things he brings, and you've got the solid presence here of Tim Walton. I mean, agreed?
Absolutely agreed. And let's keep in mind the list of guys who are really good coaches who maybe failed as NFL head coaches as long. It includes Nick Saban, it includes Urban Meyer, it includes Steve Spurrier, and many others. So I put more stock in what he did with the Patriots than his 3.5 years with the Lions. And he's not coming here as head coach anyway. He's coming here as defensive coordinator.
Right.
I think it was an absolute grand slam home run hire by Ryan Day. The proof will be in the pudding. I know they had a stacked defense last year, but number 1 defense in the country. They won the national championship. A lot to live up to, but I think Matt Patricia was a great hire by Ryan Day.
The other guy we haven't mentioned, I'll bring Paul back in for this, is Max Clare, a kid coming from Purdue. You got a young quarterback, and I'm not trying to say a tight end's going to supersede a receiver or Jeremiah Smith. I'm just saying that this guy's established. He could step right in. You guys are talking about finding a leader. Now, he wasn't with Ohio State last year, but he's got experience.
Well, he played in this stadium for Purdue, and he's a guy that, I almost want to say he's a native Ohioan, but that's incorrect. He's from Indiana, but he played high school football in Ohio. But an experienced guy that came from an offense that was known to throw the football. But you talk about all the people that were gone. Think about the plays that G. Scott made late in the season.
Yep.
The 3rd down catch that set up the 4th down play for Will Howard against Texas. The first play of the Rose Bowl against Oregon.
Yep.
So there were major contributions from there, and certainly something that can help take the pressure off the receiving group that we've talked about is if you get the production through the air from somebody else, and tight end can be that, as well as backs catching the ball.
Yeah, my famous saying, famous to me, which means nothing, right? But nobody ever covers the tight end consistently at any level of football. But Max Clare is a guy who's already shown he was like one of the few weapons for Purdue last year, but still got things done. And he came in already with respect of his new peers on this Ohio State offense, this Ohio State team. They all know what he's all about, and I think he's stepped in almost seamlessly.
This is as stacked of a tight end room as I can remember, and that's despite losing a leader and a really good player in G. Scott, like Paul was saying, because you look at Max Clare. They were saying, Kazmarek might be the best blocking tight end in college football. You have Bennett Christian, who also can play that role. And then Jelani Thurman looks like an NFL tight end right now. He's just dripping with talent. You got those 4 guys. That is a stacked tight end room.
Yeah, that's the first guy Philip Daniels mentioned when he talked about he was in when he transferred here from Minnesota. There's Jelani Thurman,
He's like, he's a tight end? What?
He's a specimen. And for one of another term, he played more and more, sneakily more than some people paid attention to last year. So he could be a guy that could really bust out. But what you really like is a quarterback. Will Howard appreciated the tight end. Some quarterbacks, even when they're told to throw to tight ends, don't appreciate what they bring to the whole schmear. And definitely Will Howard figured that out. And I think Lincoln Keynotes and Julian Say, if they're paying attention, they'll figure it out sooner rather than later.
Perfect day for a spring game.
Yeah,
Just feels like sun splashed Ohio Stadium. Paul, we'll let you go cram for the exam on those rosters, man.
All right, good to see you guys.
Good to see you, Paul.
Right,
Voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels with us. We'll come back with a former national champion, Tyvis Powell, and we'll talk about that battle opposite of Caleb Downs. We're coming back right here on the Crown Automotive in Dublin Tailgate Show on The Fan.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, it's Anthony for Orthopedic One. I'm not invincible anymore. I never was, but I refuse to punt on things I still love to do. That's why over the past several years, when I've had things creep up, like back pain, shoulder issue, elbow problem, I've had it all, I've always chosen Orthopedic One. That's because Orthopedic One is Ohio's largest physician-owned orthopedic practice with 60 physicians in every specialty. Find a physician or location near you at orthopedic1.com. Orthopedic One. This is where you go to get better.
Spring into a new vehicle at Crown Automotive Group of Dublin.
Luxury, power, and adventure, all waiting for you.
Explore our vast selection of exquisite Mercedes-Benz, the all-new rugged Ineos Grenadier, and the powerful lineup of Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram vehicles. Crown Automotive Group in Dublin is the only dealership in Columbus awarded a J.D. Power Dealer of Excellence for the customer sales experience. Visit Crown Automotive Group of Dublin on Perimeter Drive in Dublin.
Or online at crowncarsdublin.com.
Crown Automotive Group, the better way to buy.
This is big. Rent-A-Center's biggest discount is on. From April 6th to April 12th, take 50% off the total cost to own on all items in-store or online. Only at Rent-A-Center. 50% off offer reduces the total amount necessary to acquire ownership pursuant to rental purchase agreement. Offer valid on new agreements entered into April 6, 2025 through April 12, 2025. Participating locations only.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks, and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
Oh, hey, a fan show where you can be the star. Sundays at 11, it's the new Fan Call-In Show presented by ESPN Bet at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Your calls, your tweets, your voicemails, your opinions. You can be a homer, a hater, or whatever you want to be. Your family may not listen to you, but we will. The Fan Call-In Show presented by ESPN Bet at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Sundays at 11 on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
I need new rotors.
When you buy 2 Duralast rotors during our spring sale, you get Duralast brake pads free.
Free?
With the rotors.
Well, that's great. What if I need extra stopping power?
You can upgrade to Duralast Gold pads for just $10.
So Duralast pads are free?
Yep.
And an upgrade is just $10?
That's right. Part of the spring sale at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Is your AC ready for summer? Don't wait for the heat to hit. Weak airflow? Warm air? Strange noises? These are warning signs your AC needs attention. Our skilled technicians offer AC repair services or replacements to keep your family cool all summer long. Don't sweat it. 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning has your back. Here to keep your home cool all summer. Visit onehour.com to schedule today. Financing options available.
Spring forward, Columbus, with the Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling Services. We're here to thaw you out with this limited time offer. Get up to $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer is too good to pass up. The Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling now together to serve you better with $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer won't last. Call us today, 614-232-2222. That's 614-232-2222.
Huntington is banking that just clicks. Like asterisk-free checking. An account that's filled with features, but no monthly maintenance fee, no matter what. Because it's your money, right? So we think you should keep it. It's just one more way we're looking out for people every day. Is your bank looking out for you? Maybe it's time to switch. Visit your neighborhood Huntington branch or make the switch at huntington.com/yourmoney.
You're listening to the Crown Automotive Group in Dublin Fan Tailgate Show. Stop by FanFest outside St. John Arena to witness radio people doing radio.
All right, back at it, back on campus. Buckeye Nation lined up. waiting to celebrate their national champs and move on to the next one. And we got a former Natty champ right with us, a former defensive MVP. I've always kidded this man, 195 career tackles, so if I can get 5 volunteers to line up, we can get him to 200.
He still works out a lot. Be careful.
200 tackles.
I still got it now.
Right.
I was gonna say,
Eyes to the thighs, drive for 5.
That's right. I don't like a guy stuck on 195.
It's like some guys are considering it. They're like, no.
You know, it's actually impressive to think, like, I stopped on a number like that.
Yeah.
Usually it's like 96, 7.
Yeah.
To have 95, wow.
Yeah, it's like Ovechkin stopping on 895. We got to get to 900, right? Anyway, it's great to see you, my man. I know you're a part of the Big Ten Network coverage today, so you're looking very professional. So now you got to have to dumb it down for us a little bit. There's a battle at safety across Caleb Downs, is there not?
Yeah, I mean, you got 2 guys, Jalen McClain, Malik Hartford. Both of these guys are highly thought of. I think Jalen McClain has been the guy that's been making the most plays. But when Malik Hartford first got on campus, if you remember, he played as a true freshman. Right. It was games where he came in and made plays. So it's going to be very interesting to see which guy can do that. Whoever does it has to do a great job of playing that post. Lathan Ransom was really good at covering deep balls down the middle of the field and getting those big-time interceptions. And he was real quick twitchy when it came to stopping the run. If you remember the Oregon game, he blew up that running back real good. So it's big shoes to fill.
Yeah, Malik Hartford, kind of spit the bit there his freshman year when he had a chance to start and stuff, and it overwhelmed him to a certain extent, and he got his act back together now. When they were lining up yesterday in the stadium running through drills and scrimmaging and stuff, it was he and Caleb Downs were with the first-team defense, and Malik Hartford's really looked solid, I think is the best way of putting it this spring. And Jalen McClain, it's every time you see him, it seems like he gets better. Yeah. And I think it bodes well for them. Now, who's behind them will be interesting to watch today, too, because you got to figure Caleb Downs has been held out of a lot of duty this spring as he basically recovers from playing more plays than anybody on the defense last season. And so we'll see where it goes in that depth. So that'll be something to keep an eye on today.
Yeah, I really like Fahim Delane, the true freshman. I think he might fill out the 2 deep as that number 4 safety. And like you guys are saying, like, get the best player in college football, best defensive player in college football in Caleb Downs. And big shoes to fill losing Lathan, of course. But they're in good hands, as you guys are saying. Whoever wins that job, I believe in. And whoever doesn't win is still going to play a lot between Malik and Jalen. So they're in good hands. And, guys, they have 5 true freshmen I think are going to play as backups. Meaningful roles, though. Yep. Zion Grady at defensive end, Fahim Delane at safety, Devin Sanchez at corner, Riley Pettijohn and TJ Alford at linebacker. Again, not starters, but guys that can add depth, and they need that replacing 8 starters on defense.
We're with former Buckeye and national champ Tyvis Powell with us as we break down the other side of the ball defensively. All right, Tyvis, talk to me about C.J. Hicks. Stand up on the edge. Do we finally have him in the right spot to really take advantage of everything he has to offer? Where do you think Matt Patricia will feature him, and how much does he have to earn it?
I think he could truly be like a Abdul Carter. This is a guy that they came in and they tried it at a linebacker, and it just didn't work. And I didn't want this situation to be like a Baron Browning, where he spent 4 years of his career playing linebacker, and he gets to the NFL and becomes an unbelievable pass rusher, and we missed out on that at Ohio State. So I think having C.J. Hicks at pass rusher is probably where he belongs. I mean, if you remember last year, it was a blow-up after a game about how he wanted to rush the passer.
Yes.
You got a new defensive coordinator in Matt Patricia. He's going to give you what you want. Anytime I've seen any clips of practice, it's always C.J. Hicks talking to Matt Patricia. He's in his ear. They're trying to get something going. Plus, you think about the D-line. You lost all 4 starters. That was a big reason why you were able to have the success that you had on defense. Right. I talked to, I do some Brown stuff. Jim Schwartz calls the defensive line the engine of the defense. It really stops a lot of things. If you don't have those 4 solid guys or don't have no production from that, it makes it harder on everybody else. So if C.J. Hicks can come in and be a premier pass rusher for this team, that's going to help everybody else on that defense.
He even wears the number 11, just like Abdul Carter.
Yeah. Exactly. And
we'll take that, right?
And Micah Parsons, just don't call him late for the pass rush. I mean, we were giving him not grief, but good-natured stuff about that a couple of years ago. He's wearing number 11, and you put him in that situation, he was outstanding, and yet they're still trying to make him a fully blown linebacker. It like you're just talking about, Tyvis, it's almost like they wasted a year. But, really, last year, where would he have really, would he have gotten this shot? Yeah. He's going to get this shot with this defense because Matt Patricia really likes him. And number 2, C.J. Hicks' eyes just glow with the anticipation of playing off the edge.
And they like Logan George as well. I think he might end up being the top backup defensive end. The guy from he transferred in from Idaho State. Obviously a big jump, but had 19.5 tackles for loss last year, 6.5 sacks. And Larry Johnson said he's been a pleasant surprise and explained why. He said he's quicker than I thought, very strong hands. They think Logan George can be a very good piece behind Caden Curry and Kenyatta Jackson, who I think are going to have good years as first-year starters. Those guys have waited their turn and then some. They're in their 4th year. They were both big-time recruits, and now they're finally getting a chance to start.
Isn't it amazing, though, because a lot of people liked Logan George. I mean, went after Logan George in the transfer portal aspect of things, and it's funny that you would go to Idaho to be found because it's in the middle of nowhere. But
not even Boise, but Idaho State,
exactly.
The Bengals.
Exactly. So the bottom line is, I mean, he's a quiet dude, but he's really drawn raves over the last couple of weeks.
Tyvis, the other question we were talking about earlier trying to answer is the leadership, and we're going to find that this year. And, listen, Cody Simon really excelled last year, and now you got Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles and maybe a name people don't know about, and Peyton Pierce, and it's going to be very interesting. So talk to me a little bit about the level up you need to see from Sonny and Arvell, and then adding Peyton to this equation.
Well, I think for Sonny, obviously, he got the best of it because he got to be alongside of Cody Simon. And Cody Simon was unbelievable. I mean, the way he went about his business, the preparation that he did for each and every game, watching tape, doing stuff after practice, he was locked in. And those are some big shoes to fill. But the good news is, everybody in that linebacker room was there last year. They saw what he did. They seen what putting in this work during the week, what the results get you and how you're able to play. Guy ended up being defensive MVP in the national championship game. So I think for Sonny Styles and the rest of those guys, just pay attention to what Cody did and make sure that you guys are using your voice. Because you're right, you lost a lot of guys out there. It's a lot of young guys out there, and you have to make sure that their play is risen when you're out there on the field.
Yeah, I said on this show, and whatever, the last half of the year, I don't know if you agree, I thought Cody Simon was the best linebacker in the country. It wasn't even a Butkus semifinalist.
I agree.
But
he was great.
Yeah, but Sonny Styles played, 900 plays himself. I mean, he really came in. This spring, they've really benefited to a certain extent by keeping Sonny out of a lot of the action to let him, like what you say, have his breather. And Peyton Pierce, boy, you talk to James Laurinaitis about Peyton Pierce, he'll talk all day. And the kid from Lovejoy, Texas. But the bottom line is this guy has really come on. He's come on almost as a leader also in that group. And then Riley Pettijohn, Julian saying when they went live a few times last week in that scrimmage, the Student Appreciation Day scrimmage, Riley Pettijohn and Julian Sayin met each other. It was a fine how do you do, Julian Sayin, for Riley Pettijohn, and then T.J. Alford. So they feel like they've got some pretty good depth growing there.
Peyton Pierce probably has the most helium of anybody during spring. We all knew Caleb Downs and Jeremiah Smith and all this, and they love Arvell Reese and Sonny. We knew that. But the way, as you're saying, they talk about Peyton Pierce, he's going to play a ton. And that also allows them to free up Arvell to do a little bit of everything because Arvell's going to have a huge season. I love him. With Sonny, Arvell, and Peyton Pierce, they are set at linebacker, and that's despite losing a stud in Cody Simon.
Arvell Reese hardly ever says a word, but he lets his actions speak.
Yeah. He's a freak.
Kind of like our man Tyvis Powell.
Yeah, I say a lot of words.
All right.
Let's made a career out of it.
Let's go to the cornerbacks for a second. 2 questions here. 2-prong question. If Devin Sanchez, is he going to be too good to keep off the field? Mm-hmm. And if he is too good to keep off the field, then does Jermaine kind of kick inside? What are you anticipating there in the corner room?
Well, I'll tell you what, Devin Sanchez has been everything as advertised. He's been the guy that you hear every time a reporter is at practice. They talk about how athletic he is. I think he's gotten himself a chance to play this season. It's going to be interesting what they do because talking to Tim, he was telling me Aaron Scott is the name that people forgot about, but he's been looking really well in practice as well. So I think Jermaine Matthews having the versatility to be able to go inside helps Devin Sanchez out. And even if not, if you want to get Devin Sanchez on the field because he is that much of a playmaker, the nickel spot is perfect. Yeah. They're young corners, they are young safeties that you think can make plays, and they're not quite ready to take on the one row. Put them at nickel and let them get their feet wet, and they can still make plays.
Excellent points. And the thing about Jermaine Matthews, he's jumped off the chart to me this spring because he's made plays every time we've gotten to watch him. Davis and Igbinosun, but hardly anybody's talking about him because hardly anybody's making a play against him. It's one of those kind of things. But what you like about Devin Sanchez, he comes from Galena North Shore High School, northeast of downtown Houston. I mean, big time football. And they played at the highest level of that big-time football against big-time talent. And he has stepped in. I would say it's been seamless because he's gotten burned a few times. We saw Carnell Tate burn him in the Student Appreciation Day last week when Lincoln Keno's dropped a dime on Carnell Tate down the right sideline. But the bottom line, you're going to make mistakes. But Sanchez does not look out of water.
Tyvus, thank you for doing your walkthrough with us. And now you can go play the real thing in the shoe.
I'm just doing sideline. I'm just interviewing. Doing interviews.
Steal the show, baby.
It's a very important part of the equation, man. You got to be an athlete.
I want to make sure I speak clearly and not stutter and mumble or any of those things.
Butt in on Jake Butt. That's what you need to do.
You burned all your good stuff with us, though, so I'm not really sure what you got left. We'll see.
It might be just a repeat.
Rinse and repeat.
I owe the people of Columbus the truth.
You got it committed, man. Thanks for stopping by. That is the one and only Tyvus Powell. We'll come back with the former All-American Jim Lachey and talk about these tackles that nobody's heard of yet. It's the Crown Automotive in Dublin Fan Tailgate Show right here on The Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you. The Fan.
Attention kingdom-seeking business professionals, entrepreneurs, and investors in Columbus. Are you ready to experience a life-changing event that will elevate your faith, finances, and future in 2025? Then you won't want to miss this. Join us for Life Search, featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center for an extraordinary one-day event that will empower you to transform every area of your life through the power of faith. Prepare to be inspired by an incredible lineup of champions, including college football champions Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs, three-time national champion head coach Urban Meyer, sportscaster Kirk Herbstreit, two-time national football champion Tim Tebow, and more. These champions have experienced firsthand how faith transforms lives, and they'll be joining Life Search to share their powerful stories and insights on how to integrate faith into your business, finances, and every aspect of your journey. Seats are selling fast to this unforgettable event, so don't wait. Head to LifeSearch.com now to secure your tickets before they're gone. Life Search featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center. Don't miss out. Your transformation begins here. Visit LifeSearch.com today.
Common Man here of Spring Cleaning has you thinking about spring upgrading. This is the month to do it. Freshen your home's look, boost your energy efficiency, and save big during Universal Windows Direct's Spring Home Improvement event. Right now, it's their classic fan favorite offer. You buy 2 windows, you get 2 free, and there's no limit. If you buy 4, you pay for 2. If you need 12, you pay for 6. What are you waiting for? Schedule your free in-home estimate today. Give them a call, 614-502-5220, or visit universalwindowsdirect.com.
Plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, and HVAC techs. It's time to get what you deserve. Join a team that offers better wages, secure pensions, employee-paid health care, and free training and continuing education. Apprentices, you'll earn while you learn. No student debt, just a solid future. It's more than a job, it's a career. Visit UALocal189.com and take the first step today.
The Buckeyes are national champions. And you listen to it all right here on The Fan. And next year when they do it again, it'll be here on The Fan. And the year after that, well, you know the drill. Always and forever, your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan.
With prices the way they are, this is the year to start growing your own fruits, herbs, and vegetables. Oakland Nursery has #1 size blueberry plants starting at just $9.99. Cool season vegetable plants start at just $2.99 a pack. Asparagus roots, rhubarb crowns, gooseberries, strawberries, and more. And all your favorite herbs, too. Premium quality fruit trees start at just $29.99. Grow your own fruits, vegetables, and herbs this year. For 85 years, Gardeners start at Oakland Nursery.
Hey, it's Anthony for my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. And Rich and his team are ready to get you in a great new Honda this spring. Purchase or lease. He's going to make you feel awesome about your next vehicle and your experience. Grab a hold of this one, a 2025 Honda Accord Hybrid Sport. Lease it for only $347 a month for 36 months, 30,000 miles, and only $19.99 down. He's got rates as low as 2.9%. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
We're catching up with that famous deep-sea explorer, Jacques Black Jacques. Jacques, where are you today? You're in Columbus. What could you possibly be exploring in Columbus?
The April showers bring flooding to Batmouth.
Oh, I see. Spring rains mean basements are flooding.
This is not necessary. Apex Pros.
Not necessary. Call Apex Pros.
A simple zoom pump check.
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble understanding this. Zoom pump check. Sump pump check. Are you saying sump pump check?
Oui.
Yes, of course. Sump pump check from the pros who knows at Apex Pros.
They come to your house.
They come to your house.
They test your zoom pump.
They test your, what is it again?
Zoom pump.
Sump pump, right.
All with a 5-star guarantee.
All with a 5-star guarantee. Now, see, I understood that perfectly.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
The defending national champs can't lose today, baby. You're listening to the Crown Automotive Group in Dublin Fan Tailgate Show.
All right, back at it. The boys just bust through. Football buses came through. Right here, South St. John, north of the shoe.
Champs. Kind of impressive.
It was?
Yeah.
They came through, did their little pit row.
Made their run around the
motorcade.
The horseshoe driveway.
Little victory lap.
Headed to the horseshoe.
Yeah, beautiful. We've got the former All-American Jim Lachey with us. Great to see you, my man.
Great to be here with you guys.
Tell us about these tackles that we don't really know about yet, and your confidence in them and what you think they can become.
Well, obviously you had to add that position group, after the end of the season, and I think they went out and found two guys that are capable. And certainly now when you throw Austin Sareveld, what he was able to do last year, they really have three. Ian Moore has stepped up. Carter Lowe would be the fourth or fifth guy in that category, the freshman out of Toledo.
Yep.
And he's done some nice things. But Onyeonwa, I think, really has got the upper hand probably at that left tackle spot. And I was telling some guys out there, man, these guys are almost too big, which is hard to say for an offensive tackle because you want them big. But when you look at the guys they go against, there's rarely a guy that weighs over 270. Most of them are in the 250 to 265, 270 range. When you look at, JT and Jack last year, both those guys were lean. When you look at Abdul Carter with Penn State, obviously he was a guy that was more of a linebacker type that switched to defensive end in rush situations. So, kind of goes in cycles. In the NFL, most of the tackles were like 260, 270, back in the 70s. And then you get to the 80s, and I get drafted by the Chargers, and I'm at 292, and I'm the heaviest tackle on the squad. And but some of the coaches in the mid 80s or early 90s, they wanted you to be over 300 because of defensive ends. You got a guy named Reggie White that was about 300 pounds, so you had to get bulk on bulk, so to speak. And then it kind of switched. In our conference, obviously, then in the NFC East, you had, a guy like Lawrence Taylor, and you didn't need to be that big with him because he was, extremely fast. So it kind of goes in cycles right now, and, right now you're seeing smaller, quicker defensive ends than you had in the past, and, that's true. I mean, if you can't run over a guy, which is hard for a 340-pounder or 320-pounder, you got to try to run around him, use quickness, and that's what they've been able to do. But
I think, what we've seen though, during the spring, we've seen Austin Sareveld really assert himself, and because they're going to play as they say, the top five linemen. No matter what you are. Sareveld, yesterday when they went to the first team offense there in the scrimmage against Ohio Stadium, Sareveld was at right tackle again.
Yep.
He's a guy that can play every position except center. I don't know why he couldn't play center, but I really think he's a guy who's really. We knew about him last year. He played tremendous amount until he got banged up. When they were having those 7 iterations of the offensive line. But Sareveld, I think, has asserted himself this spring. as being one of the top 5. Now what do you do with him, right, Dave?
Exactly. I'm so impressed with him because he was the one guy who played both left guard and right guard during the national championship run. All 3 of those guards played well.
Right.
Luke just played left guard, Tegra just played right guard, and they would rotate, but Austin was playing both sides. Now, as you guys are talking about, he's playing right tackle. I love that because I love getting Onionwa and Daniels in the portal. As you were saying, Carter Lowe is a guy that can add depth there. Saraveld can add that valuable experience on the national championship team. And you need a guy like Josh Padilla that can back up center. I love the depth on this offensive line.
Me too.
Yeah.
I agree. I like the pride of the coaching staff too, right?
Absolutely.
We got 3 offensive line coaches.
Plus the quality control guy that came with Ty from Virginia Tech.
And you got Jim Lachey hanging out. You got Jim Lachey hanging out at practice. If you need another set of eyes, not bad.
But no, you got I think Marcus Johnson from Purdue has come in and done a great job. Charlie Dickey, at Oklahoma State, he's been a former head offensive line coach, and then of course Tyler Boland, who's a run game coordinator, offensive line coach, the overall offensive line coach. So.
Yeah, I'm calling
really
the offensive.
You can't run and hide. You know what I mean? You got the film, and then you got 6 eyeballs watching you each
helping you
set, and you got to. And the main thing on that is make sure everybody's on the same page. Sometimes one guy wants you to take this step on a cutoff backside, another guy wants you to take that step. They all got to be on the same page, so they're teaching the same things. And I'm sure. Tyler Bowen is a guy that's kind of, putting him in the ear. No, this is the way we're going to do it.
He told us the other day. I mean, they hammer on that every day that they're speaking the same language.
You got to. Exactly. Otherwise, you get some confusion in there. But no, it's great to have that depth at the coaching, depth on that offensive line. I think it was a big for Carson Hintzman last year after kind of waiting and Seth McLaughlin taking over, and Seth had a hell of a year. I mean, All-American, and unfortunately got hurt before that Indiana game with that Achilles injury. And the week before, Carson Hintzman was playing left guard and did a fantastic job against Penn State. He moves back to center and, really had a good end of the year. I think we can all say against the team up north that none of the offensive line played well, especially in that running game. But after that, those final 4 games, it was an incredible run against Texas, against Oregon where they, blew them out, against Tennessee here at home, and then certainly against Notre Dame where they had a big lead there in that third quarter.
Isn't it amazing that they did that? They lost Josh Simmons in the Oregon first game.
He'll be a first-rounder probably.
They lost, who was going to be maybe the first tackle taken in the draft, left tackle. And they lost Seth McLaughlin, the eventual Remington Award winner, with 3 games left in the regular season. And they, in my opinion, dominated. The postseason, offensive line-wise.
And Justin Fry, halfway through the year, people are like, oh, no, is he doing the right thing? And, certainly the way he ended up was great. And, he got a new opportunity to coach in the NFL, which I'm sure is a dream of his to be a coach at the highest level. Now he's got that opportunity with the Arizona Cardinals. And, we brought in a guy like Tyler Bowen. I think he'll do a fantastic job with this guy. But he's got a group of guys that have a lot of confidence from what they were able to accomplish last year, especially inside. They got 2 tackles that they picked up in the portal that, should be able to step up. And, like Coach Hayes used to say, you need a pair and a spare at every position, and I think they'll have that.
Jim Lachey with us, the former All-American and Super Bowl champ, breaking down last year's Natty and, of course, this year's spring game. How far away do you think he is from his decision at quarterback, Jim?
I would wait until the Thursday before the Texas game, honestly. I mean, what advantage do you have to name something earlier? Obviously it might give that kid some confidence who's out there, but, you don't want to give the opponent that you're playing any advantage before that. So,
but where do you think he is in his mind right now?
I think he's still, kind of 50-50 on each of those guys. I think Lincoln Kienholz, I think early 3 weeks ago, everybody thought, Julian Sain's going to be the guy. But I thought Lincoln Kienholz has battled throughout the spring. He's made some plays, and he's had some negative plays too, which you're going to expect at the quarterback position. But I think it's good to have 2 of those guys coming in here because, as we just talked about with the injuries on the offensive line, God forbid something would have happened to Will Howard last year. Then you would have seen a guy like Devin Brown have to step up. And, of course, you go back to the 2014 National Championship team where we had 3 quarterbacks that had to play to get that thing nailed down. So it's good to have 2 guys and 3 in Tavian St. Clair that can step up and play. But I think right now in his mind, he might be leaning one way, but I think he's just going to let it play out through the end of August.
I think you have to. You owe it to yourself because, like Lincoln Kienholz has blossomed this spring, in my opinion, because he's gotten the opportunities. And then Tavian St. Clair, they have to get him ready. There are only 3 of them. right now.
Right.
You know?
I wonder if they'll add a quarterback in the portal just for depth. So
I would think.
Coach Day's always talked about he wants 4 scholarship quarterbacks.
I would think you have to.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they're okay with Mason Maggs being that, even though he's on a scholarship, that 4th guy. But, Tavian, I think we got to be patient with him coming from a small school in Ohio, but I've been so impressed with him. Obviously, his physical traits are impressive. You would never know you're talking about a young man that should be getting ready for his high school prom.
Right.
When you talk to Tavian St. Clair, he's very mature, so he's going to be a good one here. So I think they're in good hands at the quarterback position. Huge shoes to fill as far as Will Howard's production and his leadership. But, I believe in both those young men.
Yeah, and I agree. When you go to Texas, you don't want to have a quarterback tryout, so to
Correct.
speak, in that game. You want to have in your mind somebody.
That's what changes this dynamic of this deal, because
you got to win
a
that
big
ball
time
game. And,
yeah.
This is a game, obviously, you're going to have to lean on your defense. Matt Patricia, the new defensive coordinator, is going to have to get those guys ready because, we've seen, what Texas has offensively. Now they've lost some of the speed that they've had out in wide receiver. They lost some guys on that offensive line, so they're going to have to replace. But they do have a quarterback in Arch Manning who, has the ability to be a dual threat, as we saw a little bit last year.
I agree.
All right. Jim Lachey shows up. The band comes with him. That's the way this man travels.
The band.
He doesn't have a bandwagon. He has a band.
That's it. That's cue the band when Jim Lachey shows up.
That looks like the real deal, too. That's not the alumni band.
Yep. Enjoy yourself up there.
All right,
Thanks,
guys,
Jimmy.
I will.
That's the one and only Jim Lachey. When we come back after a SportsCenter update, a little NIL madness hits a playoff team from last year. We'll get to that when we come back on the Crown Automotive in Dublin Fan Tailgate Show right here on The Fan.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit CasterConnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution Specialists.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
I need new rotors.
When you buy 2 Duralast rotors during our spring sale, you get Duralast brake pads free.
Free?
With the rotors.
Well, that's great. What if I need extra stopping power?
You can upgrade to Duralast Gold pads for just $10.
So Duralast pads are free?
Yep.
And an upgrade is just $10?
That's right. Part of the spring sale at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Is your AC ready for summer? Don't wait for the heat to hit. Weak airflow? Warm air? Strange noises? These are warning signs your AC needs attention. Our skilled technicians offer AC repair services or replacements to keep your family cool all summer long. Don't sweat it. 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning has your back. Here to keep your home cool all summer. Visit onehour.com to schedule today. Financing options available.
Spring into a new vehicle at Crown Automotive Group of Dublin. Luxury, power, and adventure, all waiting for you. Explore our vast selection of exquisite Mercedes-Benz, the all-new rugged Ineos Grenadier, and the powerful lineup of Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram vehicles. Crown Automotive Group in Dublin is the only dealership in Columbus awarded a J.D. Power Dealer of Excellence for the customer sales experience. Visit Crown Automotive Group of Dublin on Perimeter Drive in Dublin or online at crowncarsdublin.com. Crown Automotive Group, the better way to buy.
Yeah, boss asked us to get the Ohio Lottery kiosks ready for the new $20 scratch-off, $2 million extreme cash. With $38 million in total prizes, we had to go big. We had cup holders, monster truck tires, even installed air horns in case somebody reveals the extreme symbol and wins every prize on the scratch-off. Boss thinks the light show's a bit much, but gotta celebrate $2 million top prize winners somehow. So yeah, play $2 million extreme cash from the Ohio Lottery. And if you can tell my boss I did a good job, that'd be cool too. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. My wife and I picked out a beautiful A-frame porch swing with a nice covering on it. We can sit out, get shade from the sun, watch our kids play in the backyard. We're reclaiming our backyard, and we're doing that with Getchy's Amish Country Furnishings in Dublin. You can do that, too. Their spring open house event runs now through April 19th. Some of the best savings of the year on poly furniture, play sets for the kiddos, whatever you need to complete your outdoor space, you'll find it at Getchy's in Dublin. You can also see the selection at AmishCountryFurnishings.com. Once again, that's AmishCountryFurnishings.com.
Home values in Columbus are sky high, and you have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market has peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's time. Except for 2 things. High interest rates will burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Smart, right? Truehold will make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others. It's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, or secure your retirement. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. Truehold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much Truehold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks, and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Happy Saturday to you. I'm Cole Bartemus. It's Spring Game Saturday here in Columbus, and we'll have that game right here on The Fan, by the way. Ohio State will get the game kicked off at noon. Paul and Jim will take over these airwaves at 11:45 for pregame coverage, and we have warm-up coverage leading into that. Many schools are having their spring games today. Alabama, Auburn, Florida, Notre Dame, just to name a few. So cities all over the country are getting to reunite with college football today, and this city certainly is one of them as well. The Blue Jackets also have some afternoon hockey. They got the Capitals at 12:30 in the first of a back-to-back with Washington. Today will be played here. Tomorrow will be played there. And the Jackets are 6 points shy of the Montreal Canadiens in the Eastern Conference standings with the game in hand, but time is running out as there are only 4 games left in the CBJ season, so we may be hoping and praying at this point. And 53 golfers remain in the field down in Augusta. The Cup was at +2. Through the first 2 rounds, your leaderboard reads Justin Rose in first at 8 under, Bryson DeChambeau in second, and McIlroy and Connors tied for third.
Who's the quarterback of the future? Let's find out together. You're listening to the Crown Automotive Group in Dublin Fan Tailgate Show.
All right, back on campus. Enjoying a little sun-splashed spring fling here at Ohio State. Best damn band in the land. They stuck around, even though Jim Lachey left. I slipped them see what a Finsky can do for an attitude here?
Yes.
They kept around. I think I bought 2 minutes of playtime for us.
Okay.
Hey, I was telling Dave, I don't know who has a backup band like that. I mean, the reason this isn't to Biddle is they've got woodwinds in it. But the bottom line is, how many schools have backup bands that size?
Well, we said a pair and a spare. They got them everywhere, right?
That's crazy. Yeah.
Maybe you can hop out there, Biddle. Did you play the clarinet at one point in high school?
I did not, no.
Okay.
Did not.
Bad information.
Did not.
Dot the I in Biddle.
That's right.
And to Biddle?
That's right.
There you go.
It's spelled differently.
Well, they stole it from you, my man.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
All right, so this came down yesterday, and then earlier today it became official. Tennessee's looking for a quarterback. That's unbelievable. So Nico Iamaleava went through some sort of NIL contract discussions with Tennessee. This guy's got a heck of a future. I think we believe he has a lot of potential.
I do.
And then all of a sudden, this morning, it becomes official that he will not be returning to Tennessee. So his last memory as a volunteer was in here, getting crunched, although he hung in there.
Without him, they would have really been in trouble.
That's right.
True. He did tough it out. There's no doubt about that. He got his helmet cracked twice.
And then I also feel that the narrative is really anti-Nico right now.
Of course.
That how much more can you ask for until you've really taken them to a certain level? I mean, this is the era we're in now, Dave, where a quarterback who's their future decides what? And I'm only guessing here that it's just not enough.
Yeah, because he was making $2.2 million per year, which Nico to me is like an above-average quarterback. So that you can make the argument he's already a little overpaid. But then you see things like Carson Beck going to Miami and making $4 million. You can see why he's thinking the price goes up, or his agent's telling him, whoever, the people in his camp. All right, if Carson Beck's making $4 million, you got to get a raise. It's just crazy. Yep. I don't think it's sustainable like 5 years from now. Here's why. I'm talking not NIL, but like guys like Nico getting $2.2 million a year for being an above-average quarterback, I don't think that's sustainable long-term. Here's why. Rich guys, rich ladies did not get rich by throwing their money away. And if all of a sudden that return of investment is not where it needs to be, they're going to get sick of throwing their money away. Are guys still going to get paid? Absolutely. But Nico obviously knows through the back channels someone's going to pay him more than $2.2 million or he would not have been doing this. So he's now going to get more than that.
Yeah.
I just don't think this is sustainable. I'm glad guys are getting paid finally, but this situation with Tennessee is insane. We've made fun of them a lot for the Neyland North stuff, then coming in here and getting their butts kicked, but I actually feel bad for their fans dealing with this stuff.
Yeah, now, where you wonder, you saw the little list that came out, last night of where he might be looking, and a school including that was Ohio State. We were just talking a while ago, will Ohio State look into the portal for a fourth quarterback? I think Ohio State's got two very capable quarterbacks here going into this spring game, and Julian Sayin and Lincoln Kienholz, and that could really, I don't know, upset the apple cart may not be the right term. If you can upgrade at that position, if you're any school in the country, you try to do it. But I'm with you, Dave. This whole NIL transfer portal era has to run its course for people to understand what they're getting and sometimes what they're not getting. To me, the most intriguing aspect of this is Carson Beck going to Miami. Is he really going to be that guy?
$4 million for Carson Beck?
But he's coming off major injury. Is he really going to be that guy? Is he even going to come close to Cam Ward? That remains to be seen, the guy they just had.
I doubt it. I mean, he's going to be the number one pick in the draft. I'll never forget this. I'm telling you, I'm leaving the Rose Bowl, left the press box, went down, was walking around the back of the Rose Bowl to go to the interview area after Ohio State kicked Oregon's butt in the Rose Bowl, and there are these two Oregon fans walking right next to me, and the one says to the other, we should have ponied up for Cam Ward. What a line, right? I mean, they had ponied up for Dylan Gabriel. They went undefeated and won the Big Ten championship, but that just shows you the patience aspect of the fans out there, but also the idea that you think you can go out and buy the guy.
Buy a championship.
Yeah. That whole thing will have to run its course. And like Dave said, when you figure out you're not getting the bang for the buck, that'll be several years from now, but we'll see where it goes.
I think star players that are here, like Jeremiah Smith, Caleb Downs, you'll see those guys getting taken care of. Right. I think there's going to be some trepidation paying recruits like Nico $2.2 million,
right,
knowing that he's going to come hold you hostage right before the portal opens anyway. It's like, I think what Ohio State did last year, I think, is the blueprint. You take care of the guys that have proven already that they're very good college players, guys like JT Tuimoloau,
right,
Jack Sawyer, on and on and on. You take care of those guys, look what happened, national championship. I think rich donors are going to get sick of paying high school recruits what they're paying.
Well, there's a couple ways. Yes, there are a couple ways to look at it. Sometimes rich donors just want to pay for access and association and be involved, and you're coming to me. It makes them feel important and the ego, and I've got the money. You need me. So that's always going to exist.
You're right.
The other part of it is these guys and coaches always want to get ahead of the next talent, and they're willing to take the risk if it's not their money. And so that's the other way to look at it. The way to look at Nico is, I mean, first of all, he can't go to another SEC team. That's at least part of the rule. He can't do that.
Right.
But the fact that he thinks he's going to get more somewhere else in a bigger platform, okay, God bless him. Maybe
he must know. He must know because tampering is rampant. I can't imagine, guys. He would have taken this massive step to leave Tennessee knowing he was going to be paid $2.2 million without knowing somebody else had already told him, we're definitely going to give you more.
And you don't think Tennessee didn't live up to something, or that that way?
I think he came to them. I think the Carson Beck thing is the perfect example.
Renegotiate.
But, when he saw Carson Beck making $4 million, even though I don't think Nico's that good, but I think I'd rather have him than Carson Beck. He saw that. He's like, I'm getting like half of what Carson Beck's getting. It's time to renegotiate.
So these are
Tennessee's like, no, we're not doing that.
So basically, this is like NFL guys. He just got his new deal. I need mine.
Remember what Urban used to call the third uncles?
Yeah.
Now you've got actual representatives, etc. Plus your parents. It says like his dad. I'm not drawing any conclusions here, but some of the stuff I've read from his dad and stuff. I mean, some people live in a strange world out there. I mean, and a fantasy world to a certain extent. $2.2 million is a lot.
No. There will be guys that will make more in one season of college football then we'll make in 3 lifetimes. It'll happen.
Correct.
The thing that I was going to mention, though, is now that we're in the expanded playoff, and I brought this up before the playoff expanded, that if you're like now Ohio State came from an 8 seed, that's a rarity. There was a special team, perfect investment, a lot to play for, a lot of leadership on that team. But what happens when you get a 9, 10, 11, 12 seed, where you get a young player who might be able to go to the NFL or whatever, and like, you want me to play in this playoff? I'm going to need this to play in that game, a quarterfinal game. We may get there. You talked about players holding teams hostages.
We're definitely going to get there.
We're getting to a point where they might say, I'll risk a playoff because I'll risk a playoff, but you've got to make it worth my while.
Absolutely. That will definitely happen.
That was like 2 years ago when Caleb Williams and C.J. Stroud came back. The bottom line was if they had jumped into the portal, that would have set the world on fire because it would have been a mass bidding war for either one of those guys. And that's what eventually we're going to see. That it's like a shooting star, and then it's going to burn out.
That's right.
But you got to let it shoot and burn.
My goodness. All right. Well, here we are.
Friction,
embrace
baby.
it.
Friction burns.
Try to compartmentalize it. If you're a fan, enjoy the games. The guys are still trying out there.
Oh, yeah.
And all that.
And
all
the Buckeyes are defending national champions.
We will come back and talk about what we shall see today. When we come back on the Crown Automotive Group in Dublin Fan Tailgate Show, presented by, of course, Crown Automotive Group in Dublin, your go-to for sales and service of Mercedes-Benz, Ineos, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram right here on the Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Huntington is banking that just clicks. Like early pay. Moving up payday so you could get your money faster. Up to 2 days faster. And there's no cost. It's your money, right? So stop playing the waiting game. It's just one more way we're looking out for people every day. Is your bank looking out for you? Maybe it's time to switch. Visit your neighborhood Huntington branch or make the switch at huntington.com/yourmoney. Direct deposit and eligibility requirements apply.
Hi, this is Bob Masheter from Dick Masheter Ford. Thank you to all of Central Ohio as we head towards 60 years of doing business in the Buckeye State. Dad opened up in 1967 simply trying to offer a better way to buy a car, and we've been working ever since to serve our neighbors. We have served you through wars, recessions, and even a Chinese virus. Here is to serving you and your kids and your grandkids for the next 60 years, except on Sundays when we're closed, because it's the right thing to do. Still 24/7 at masheterford.net. Thanks.
Plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, and HVAC techs. It's time to get what you deserve. Join a team that offers better wages, secure pensions, employee-paid health care, and free training and continuing education. Apprentices, you'll earn while you learn. No student debt, just a solid future. It's more than a job, it's a career. Visit UALocal189.com and take the first step today.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to partner with 10 TV and The Fan to launch Raise the Roof, honoring local heroes going above and beyond. We are calling on you to help us recognize the volunteers, educators, first responders, and everyday difference makers who are making a meaningful impact in your community to be recognized on 10 TV and The Fan. Send in your nominations and stories to raisetheroof@10tv.com. That's raisetheroof@10tv.com. Nominate a hero today and help us raise the roof for those who are making a difference.
All your favorite and least favorite fan shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just type in 971 The Fan to the search bar and hit that subscribe button. It's free.
We're the land of the free and the home of the sunburnt, freckled fat guy.
Do it now.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, as Care grew over the years, you had many opportunities to sell Care to one of the big conglomerates that are buying companies all over Central Ohio. So tell our customers why you decided to keep Care in the family.
After talking about Care's values for over 30 years, I couldn't bear the thought of Care becoming the kind of company I was warning our customers about. I know the two of you will continue to treat our customers as I would, with honesty and integrity.
We will, Dad. In 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for Ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
Did you know even the smallest increase in mortgage rates can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your loan? Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. It's true, even a 0.25% change in rate can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your mortgage. But with Third Federal's new Early Rate Lock, you don't have to take chances. Early Rate Lock is the only pre-approval that locks in your rate at pre-approval, even before you find a house. Plus, we're so confident that our rates are the lowest, if you find a lower rate, we'll beat it or give you $1,000. And now through April 30th, get pre-approved with Third Federal and we'll pay all of your closing costs. So don't wait. Call Third Federal today.
Right now at Third Federal, even before you find a home, lock in 6.625%, APR 6.685% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-THIRD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down per $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restricted supply. Zero closing costs on low-cost loans only. See conditions for lowest rate guarantee at thirdfederal.com. Equal housing lender.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We're looking ahead to mostly sunny skies here for today, but a few clouds around here in the afternoon. High temperatures into the middle 50s. And then for tonight, mostly clear with patchy frost and lows down into the lower 30s. By Sunday, we're tracking mostly cloudy skies and a slight chance for a couple rain showers, otherwise dry, and highs back into the upper 50s. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm meteorologist Aaron White on 97.1 The Fan.
Is it too early to get ready for Texas? Hell no. You're listening to the Crown Automotive Group in Dublin Fan Tailgate Show.
All right, great to be back on campus with all of you guys, YouTube watchers, people out here in person. I slipped the band another 20, so we're going to get another. Slipped them to Jackson.
Put another dime in the jukebox.
Absolutely, so we can have a little music accompaniment. And it helps, with our thoughts and things. I need some music behind it to ramp it up a little bit.
That was like a pregame. The show was on, the last time you and I were together for the national championship game, and they decided to test the overwhelming public address system in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It was crazy. I finally found a janitor's office I could work in.
That might be the loudest sound system I've ever heard.
Seriously.
They were blasting music
stupid.
right before kickoff. Not right before kickoff, like 15 minutes before kickoff, they're just blasting music.
Stupid loud.
I was loving it.
Yeah. Stupid loud.
Yeah, I didn't have to do a radio hit, so that's why I was loving it.
Yeah.
I was just sitting there chilling in the press box. I was enjoying it.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Just thinking of Tim in the custodial services closet.
Dude, I was running around. You couldn't see me because
jacket over his head.
A couple of my pregame shows went crazy this year on the road because of different difficulties, but that one topped the cake.
It's like Elaine and Seinfeld. Did you order a meal into that custodial closet?
I got the big salads.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you ordered
Thousand Island.
It's crazy how there's a Seinfeld example for like everything in life. It's just unbelievable.
Or vice versa.
Or vice versa. Thank you.
Life imitating art and vice versa. Kickoff is noon today. The format of the spring game. The offense, which I'm told will be scarlet, versus the defense will be wearing gray. And so, Dave, I guess the first few series we go thud tempo, and then they will switch to some full contact?
That's right.
What we're anticipating?
Yeah, we think about midway through the first quarter, they're going to do thudding up, and then we're going to have some real football. I absolutely love it.
Kind of
now,
like last year.
Hopefully there's no injuries. We can't have it both ways. We want to see real football and then get mad if somebody gets hurt, but let's hope nobody gets hurt. None of the frontline guys are going to be out there going live. None of the quarterbacks are going to be going live at all. But I like for most of this day, we're going to see some real football. And then the fourth quarter, 10-minute running clock. So that'll go by really fast. So, man, I'm really glad on two things, Tim, that they switched it. Even though this is semantics from spring showcase to spring game, it hasn't really been a spring game in a long time anyway. Basically already was a spring showcase. I was like, why are you doing that? Just keep it spring game. So I'm glad they went back on that. And I'm glad we're seeing some most of the day we're going to see some real tackling.
I borrowed that line from North Dallas 40. Paraphrase it. When we call it a showcase, you call it a game. When we call it a game, you call it a showcase. It's a combo. And number two, it is a glorified final practice. But we saw a lot of scrimmage, and even yesterday it was stud for the most part and stuff. But you do finally have to, as Ryan Day pointed out, when they made the quarterbacks live a few times last Saturday in the Student Appreciation Day, they do hold their breath, even though they want these guys to experience the fact that when you're wearing those black jerseys, it's like you're standing in the middle of a busy street, but no one's allowed to hit you. As a quarterback, and it changes the way you approach it. Now, when you know you're in jeopardy, when you know you got backup offensive linemen over here and stuff, you're going to have to move and stuff. It changes things for you from that dynamic, and otherwise you don't see it until you play Texas. And they wanted to get a little bit of that in them. They don't want it today. They don't want anybody, if they can help it, limping off, especially with a black jersey.
I'll follow up your North Dallas 40 line and say, what did Nick Nolte say after that? Far out. Far out, man. All right. So what I do like and what I'm anticipating is that Ryan Day and Brian Hartline will be very active on the Big Ten Network talking about the quarterbacks. If you guys remember last year's spring game, I remember this vividly, that when Lincoln Kienholz didn't throw that ball away in the red zone and took that sack, air quote, and they don't even get a field goal out of it, Ryan Day lit him up on the network. He did. It's like the only thing that kills you there is a sack. Understand the situation. Like he got in his face on the spring game
Day,
last year.
That's Ryan Day.
And it was kind of cool to see. Now, let's bring it back to this year. Dave and Tim, how much do you feel he wants to, quote, showcase the quarterbacks, put them in positions to succeed, or does he want to simulate as much pressure as he can so he can get the most out of today?
I think today he wants to put them in the best position to succeed without making it easy on them. Because I think what he doesn't want is all the fans to turn on a guy or something like that. This is one practice in spring. That's how the coaches look at it. So I think anytime they put these guys really under pressure, other than Student Appreciation Day where we saw them go live, was probably a closed practice. So I think today, Tim, he's probably going to put the guys in position to succeed to some extent.
But, Tim, he does view today a little bit differently, and that he is capable of simulating an atmosphere that can apply a little layer of pressure.
Dude, Tuttle Garage was filled when I didn't even get to park in there.
Well, it is free.
When I got here at 9:20 this morning. My point is there's a lot of people here.
Yep.
That's very few schools can simulate, come even close to simulating a game day. We're sitting here talking about this band behind us, and, it changes things. How do you perform when the lights are on? This is as close as you get to a real game, and they want to take advantage of that. But I caution everybody, Will Howard did not have a great spring last year. He had a decent spring. Devin Brown maybe had as good a spring, if not better. Justin Fields, we were sitting here leaving that spring game back in 2019 going, oh, man. Speaking of Nico Amaleava, going somewhere else, you're kind of going, wow. This was before transfer portal and NIL, but wow, they really talked up this guy, but he didn't look that great, right?
Exactly.
And all he ended up being was damn good. Once the season came around, after he got his feet under him. So I would caution anybody from leaving here with any just solid idea that who the number one quarterback is based on what you see today, because there's still 29 practices in the preseason camp, which are going to decide a lot more of it.
Yeah, I think C.J. Stroud looked decent in spring games, but he certainly wasn't the C.J. Stroud that we all got to know and love. He wasn't C.J. Stroud his first start against Minnesota.
Right.
So that's the thing, man. Whoever the Buckeyes start, let's say it is Julian saying, very similar situation to C.J. Redshirts, gets in games as a freshman, but redshirts and has to start the first game next year, although not that playing Minnesota on the road was easy, but playing Texas here, that's a step up. So it's going to be interesting. I think whoever wins that job, Tim and Anthony, is going to have a good year this year, but how quickly?
Yeah.
Are we talking about they're going to have a good year starting mid-season, or are they going to hit the ground running? And that's a lot to ask, because, again, C.J. Stroud wasn't C.J. Stroud right away.
Pizza Mike dropping by.
Where's the pizza?
And the bottom line is,
we need some pizza.
Yeah, you can't be Pizza Mike without the pizza.
Exactly. The tap sack aspect. Y'all are going off on me. I'm trying to be serious. I'm just messing with you. The tap sack aspect of things really changes the dynamic, too. That's what Ryan was talking about the other day, was that, David St. Clair can get out and get after it, can get out and run.
Right.
So can Lincoln Kienholz, and to a certain extent, like you touched on, Bids, so can Julian Sayin. And that takes that aspect away. I remember Troy Smith, after the 2004 spring game, he was very upset. Maybe not very upset, but upset the fact he didn't get to run.
Yes, I do remember that.
That's what set him apart from Justin Zwick.
Yes, that's right.
When you looked at the competition. So, like I said, take everything with a grain of salt today.
Yeah. Listen, I think the dynamic of the quarterback in the run game this year will be very interesting depending on who he chooses. They both can do it. But if you listen to Ryan every year, say, get 4 yards on first down, convert on third downs. We're going to have an opportunity to run the quarterback in the red zone. That's the stuff he said last year, knowing he had Will Howard.
Right.
And so, depending how much will that sink into his decision this year, we'll see.
Billy Fessler brought up a good point the other day, the new quarterback coach, though. He goes, all three of these guys can play. That's why Jeff Snook gave me a little cheap shot there. That's what he's known for.
Snooky out here giving rib shots.
Really
man.
got goosed, I thought.
Yeah. No, it wasn't a goose. It was close.
Oh, okay.
But the bottom line is, they think all three of these guys are capable of being an Ohio State quarterback. The Ohio State quarterback. You still got to go out and prove it, and that's kind of what we're going to watch today.
Yeah, can't wait for it. All right, we will come back and we'll do. I don't know if you have any bold predictions for a spring showcase game, but
just want to talk Masters instead. No,
yeah, we do have some spring game wonders that will come out of this game, and then all the stuff we're going to read into it and over exaggerate and everything we're going to overreact to.
Over exaggerate,
over how they looked and all that, but. We are in that mode of spring football coming off a national championship and some bold predictions when we come back on the Crown Automotive in Dublin Fan Tailgate Show right here on The Fan.
There's nothing Bo Bishop can't do well, except find competent co-hosts. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
Save big money on your next staining project. Right now at Menards. Pittsburgh's ultra-advanced semi-transparent exterior stain and sealant in one can be applied on damp wood, allowing you to clean the surface and stain in one day. Save big on ultra-advanced exterior stain and sealant. And don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Spring forward, Columbus, with the Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling Services. We're here to thaw you out with this limited time offer. Get up to $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer is too good to pass up. The Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling now together to serve you better with $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer won't last. Call us today, 614-232-2222. That's 614-232-2222.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks, and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hit a home run for happy hour and ask your Twin Peaks girl about local specials on drafts, cocktails, shots, and more.
Common Man and T-Bone are known for many things. And while great radio ain't one of them, shoving food down their gullets is their specialty. Join Man and Bone for Fat Boy Food Tip.
Live at 3 or on the podcast.
Your home for fat. The Fan.
Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
I need new rotors.
When you buy 2 Duralast rotors during our spring sale, you get Duralast brake pads free.
Free?
With the rotors.
Well, that's great. What if I need extra stopping power?
You can upgrade to Duralast Gold pads for just $10.
So Duralast pads are free?
Yep.
And an upgrade is just $10?
That's right. Part of the spring sale at AutoZone.
Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Is your AC ready for summer? Don't wait for the heat to hit. Weak airflow? Warm air? Strange noises? These are warning signs your AC needs attention. Our skilled technicians offer AC repair services or replacements to keep your family cool all summer long. Don't sweat it. 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning has your back. Here to keep your home cool all summer. Visit onehour.com to schedule today. Financing options available.
If you thought 60 was the new 40, I've got one for you. Did you know 85 is the new 1?
That's right, one. Central Ohio's premier lawn and garden center, Oakland Nursery, is turning 85 this year, and they remain Central Ohio's leader in quality plant material and great value. Get into one of Oakland's 4 big garden centers and experience Oakland quality, cultivated over 85 years of serving you. Oakland Nursery in Columbus, Dublin, Delaware, and New Albany. If you haven't been to Oakland Nursery, you simply haven't been to a nursery.
Can I get Mega Millions?
Good choice. Mega Millions is bigger than ever. Jackpots now start at $50 million and grow faster.
Sounds mega.
And now, every game has a built-in multiplier, so all non-jackpot prizes are multiplied between 2 and 10 times.
Bigger prizes, better odds, and just $5? Give me 2.
Mega Millions is bigger and better than ever. Get your tickets today at your local Ohio lottery retailer. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Live from FanFest outside of St. John Arena, it's the Crown Automotive Group in Dublin Fan Tailgate Show.
All right, back at it. On campus, fans filtering into the shoe, getting ready to watch their 2025 version of the Ohio State Buckeyes. What's interesting about the quarterback thing is that Tavian St. Clair has kind of been, for better or worse, kind of put out of this race for this year. However, we might see a lot of him today, and if he looks the part, then all of a sudden the fan base is going to be like, well, wait a minute, now we got a three-headed monster again. Is there any chance of that, Dave?
I think that's why Coach Day made it clear, whether you believe it or not, that Lincoln and Julian are neck and neck, and Tavian still has a way to go. But he likes Tavian. He made it clear, because those guys have been in the program longer, Lincoln and Julian, that they have a clear leg up on Tavian. Well, then he talked up a lot of things he likes about Tavian. So, no. Now, are you going to have some fans, if Tavian puts on the show today, that say, oh, why not him? Of course.
Let me tell you something.
I don't think the coaches will care at all. You might have some fans that say that, though.
Let me tell you something. You're going to see an athlete running around out there, Tavian St. Clair.
He's not afraid to throw his body. I know he's not live today, Tim, but he's not afraid to throw his body around. I love that.
Exactly. Number one. Number two, he's big. He's pretty damn fast. He's strong, and he can throw every pass you need him to throw. So, like I said a while ago, they feel like they've got 3 quarterbacks that can all play the position for Ohio State, and what that means, which is a huge statement when you think about it, meaning this is one of the great offenses in college football, has been for a while now and stuff. But, Tavian has a ways to go. This is a complex offense for the quarterback to deal with. Just listen to at the coaches clinic on Thursday night. Just listen to Billy Fessler talk about the things that quarterbacks are called on to do in this offense, and then watching Will Howard. Will Howard was nowhere near the quarterback at the beginning of last season as he was at the end, because he had a lot of things he had to learn. They were reshaping him from a mechanic standpoint as the season went on. Luckily for them, they had a very willing customer there in Will Howard to become the best he could be at the end of the year. I mean, just his release point, for example, minor things, but big things when it comes to when the NFL looks at you. He just became the best quarterback. I agree with him. I think he might be the best quarterback in this draft in a total sense of the word. Talent-wise, Kim Ward, you can't shake that. But and Shedeur Sanders, I haven't seen enough of him yet. But my point is, this is a quarterback factory where they take pretty good models and hone them into something elite. We've seen it year after year now.
When you were talking about the attributes of Tavian St. Clair, it just kind of reminded me of I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me. And that may have happened today after this game, after the spring showcase.
Hey, that guy went on to become a U.S. Senator.
Yes, he did, Mr. Franken. We talked about some of the freshmen and some of the young guys, Bo Jackson, Devin Sanchez, and some others. We talked about Riley Pettijohn. Is there anybody in your mind, Bids, from the young guys that will come out of today saying, okay, freshman's going to be playing? Outside of maybe Sanchez.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's some obvious. I think Sanchez, we all know, is going to at least be on the 2 deep. I think Fahim Delane is going to find his way on the 2 deep. Whoever loses the battle between Hartford and McLean will be that first guy off the bench. And I think Fahim Delane, as a true freshman, is going to play a decent amount. Hopefully not a lot, because that would mean guys got hurt. But I think Riley Pettijohn's a guy people are going to be coming away saying, okay, maybe he's not in the top 3, because they love their top 3 linebackers with Sonny, Arvell, and Peyton Pierce. But he could be that next guy. TJ Alford's another one. Yes. Zion Grady. And then looking at the offense, Bo Jackson, we were talking about him earlier. Tim and I love him. Yep. We just want to see him change his number to 34, and then we'll really love him.
Does he have to earn that 34 in your mind, or change it first?
I mean,
I don't think he even wants it.
He said he's thought. Yeah, I think having the name is enough.
Yeah.
He doesn't also want to wear the 34, so he has thought about it. But Quincy Porter at wide receiver. A lot of these guys. I think a lot of the transfers like Onionwa that we want to see are not going to play very much. So I can't wait to see all these true freshmen.
Yeah, I mean, Phillip Daniels is the guy I'm going to have my eye on, the transfer offensive tackle from Minnesota, who really only started 3-4 games for them last year. He's much more of a project than Onionwa. You can put on video of Onionwa at Rice last year and go, wow, this guy, and plus he gives a damn. I think that's what stands out to me about that guy. He's lost 30 pounds down to 330. So he's really bitten in. Quincy Porter, to me, it's too bad because I'm not sure how much he's going to play because he had a yellow jersey on yesterday in the scrimmage in the stadium.
Oh, okay.
But the Student Appreciation Day, wow, he made some just ridiculous catches and had everybody leaving there going, okay, there's the next Jeremiah Smith. It's funny how they forget, right? But yeah, those are guys. And then the interior of the defensive front, Caden McDonald and Edric Houston, by the way, who looks better and better every time you see him play in that 3 technique. Mm-hmm. Those guys, who they're stepping in for, are the 2 ties, right? After that, real mystery on where the depth's going to come from in the middle of that defensive front. So watching Will Smith Jr. and a lot of these other guys play today could open a lot of eyes or make you wonder. Yeah.
And listen, it's not probably sexy to talk about the offensive lineman, but Carter Lowe is a guy that he's massive. I mean, just massive. And he's a Ohio kid, and I think he could.
What a great guy.
Yeah.
And you can see the blueprint. They're like, okay, Onionwa was just repping at left tackle. They haven't said that he's going to definitely be the starter, but he will be. Right. And then this is his last year, and where's Carter Lowe repping? Is he one of these guys moving around? No, just repping at left tackle. So you have this huge Onionwa who's going to start this year, and he's going to be replaced by an equally huge Carter Lowe. When these guys are like listed at 6'5" in the recruiting, I wonder, is he really 6'5"? Turns out he's taller than his recruiting profile. He's 6'6", 340. Actually, he's dropped a little weight. He's listed at 340. He's dropped a little weight. He looks good.
He's, as I said the other day, he's DeJuan Jones-ish. He is literally a very, very large human being. As a matter of fact, I said that on a radio show or something the other night about, or maybe it was last week, about how maybe Diebler and them could get him to just come in and get in the middle of the paint and just hula hoop a little bit and clear some stuff out. But the bottom line is, and here's the thing. What Ohio State wrote a book on last year, I'm sure they haven't published it, is how do you get through a 16-game season and win a national championship? No one had ever done it before. They had some pitfalls along the way. But when you look at the guys on the offensive front that they replaced and then shuffled, I mean, we're all fixated on who the starters are going to be, but they definitely have to have that depth developed. And, man, that was a textbook kind of way they handled things last year.
And, Bids, there's no right now real big movement to immediately change to seed them as you rank them. We're still probably in the expanded playoff where they're going to bracket them the way they are. The buys are going to. It's another year of that.
Yeah, just this year. Yeah, then I think they're gonna revamp it for sure. They might even add a couple teams, but we're gonna have the same rules as 2024 in 2025. Then they'll switch it because really, I mean, Oregon. We liked how it turned out, but really Oregon got screwed. Don't you guys think? I mean, they kind of got screwed.
Well, but in the Rose Bowl, they played a team that had been beaten twice.
Yeah, but they beat Ohio State by 1 point at their place.
I know, but you're still.
No, I hear what you're saying, but like Ohio State shouldn't have been the number 8 seed. Do we think that they were the number 8 team in the country?
No,
that's what I'm saying.
But
Oregon has to play them in the first.
But after the Michigan game, a lot of people didn't believe in them.
Exactly.
But they were still like 6th in the 8 people, weren't they? They should. Yeah. I don't think they should. And the only reason they were 8th is because of those stupid buys that they gave out. Whoever came up with that was like, let's just give an automatic buy to that. Why? Why would you do that?
So I don't like.
Oregon kind of got screwed, but hey,
if they should have gone to 8,
that banner's going to be hanging in there today. So we're okay with it.
They should have gone to 8 or 16. Nobody gets a bye. Why would you? Now what's going to be a fatality of all this? We do believe is going to be the conference championship games. But I mean, think about a 20-team eventual Big Ten. How do you figure who the champion? Does it matter who the champion is?
I don't know.
That's a show for another day. I know.
I'm back. I've kind of turned back to. Tell me where the game is. Tell me what time it's on. I'm going to watch. And I'm basically eliminated all this other garbage. Just get us to the
order wings.
Yeah, get us to the tournament and
listen
Ohio
to the
State,
fan.
Yeah, and the point about Oregon is, and I agree with both of you on it. Did they get screwed? But to win a title, they probably would have had to go through Ohio State at some point.
That's
anyway.
True.
Correct.
But you're right.
That's
and
true.
the other thing that Oregon, they almost worked to their fault is they were the only undefeated team going in, and it's pretty hard to go the distance.
Right, but we saw pretenders. Yeah. Georgia was a pretender after it lost its quarterback. Georgia was a pretender. It was not one of the Elite Four teams in the country. Oregon was undefeated and won the Big Ten. Why wouldn't you consider them one of the top four teams in the country? But others in that, Tennessee was a pretender. I know they don't like to hear that down there, but so
here at Neyland North.
Yeah.
What do you think of naming the largest fan bases?
I got in trouble for what I was saying before that game.
The largest fan base in the country. You're going to nickname their stadium Neyland North and think you're going to take it over, and then 21-0 happens. You're like, why did we do that?
Here's
21-0 hit them before they even knew what happened.
Yes.
They leaned into the blood in the water that they thought was there, and they decided to be in the bloodbath themselves.
Correct.
That's exactly what happened.
They smelled blood, but there's always
they bathed in it later.
There's always a bigger fish.
Yeah. I will not ask you guys to do a spring game prediction score-wise, so we'll leave it at this.
I think defense wins.
Dave?
I will go with offense just to be different.
Guys, enjoy it. For our in-studio producer, Cole Bartimus, the man, the loose cannon himself, running the show back there, doing a great job. Everybody out here for Tim and Dave and myself. Enjoy Buckeye football right here on The Fan.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hi, this is Bob Masheter from Dick Masheter Ford. Thank you to all of Central Ohio as we head towards 60 years of doing business in the Buckeye State. Dad opened up in 1967 simply trying to offer a better way to buy a car, and we've been working ever since to serve our neighbors. We have served you through wars, recessions, and even a Chinese virus. Here is to serving you and your kids and your grandkids for the next 60 years, except on Sundays when we're closed, because it's the right thing to do. Still 24/7 at masheterford.net. Thanks.
Hey, it's Anthony from my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. And Rich and his team are ready to get you in a great new Honda this spring. Purchase or lease. He's going to make you feel awesome about your next vehicle and your experience. Grab a hold of this one, a 2025 Honda Accord Hybrid Sport. Lease it for only $347 a month for 36 months, 30,000 miles, and only $19.99 down. He's got rates as low as 2.9%. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
When your sump pump is no longer sumping and pumping, please don't become a sump pump grump.
A sump pump grump thinks whacking the pump will make it start working again.
But it never does.
Get Eco.
ECO. A sump pump grump will let a faulty sump pump completely ruin a perfectly good day.
Fortunately, I've invented a solution.
No more sump pump grump?
No more sump pump grump.
Get Eco.
ECO. Tell me about it, Jerry.
The solution is that you get Eco to do a sump pump inspection.
What would that include?
We check your pump, your battery backup, and all the downspouts and drains along the way to make sure everything is running clear.
How much?
That's up to you, Aaron.
Jerry, Eco would be happy to do that for just $89.
That's a great price.
Get Eco.
ECO. Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
Go to geteco.com.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to partner with 10 TV and The Fan to launch Raise the Roof, honoring local heroes going above and beyond. We are calling on you to help us recognize the volunteers, educators, first responders, and everyday difference makers who are making a meaningful impact in your community to be recognized on 10 TV and The Fan. Send in your nominations and stories to raisetheroof at 10tv.com. That's raisetheroof at 10tv.com. Nominate a hero today and help us raise the roof for those who are making a difference.
The Buckeye Show.
Jeremiah Smith, he should probably be on the cover of EA Sports.
Absolutely.
Like 100% probably will be on the cover.
There's no curse for that, is there?
The Buckeye Show.
Presented by Coors Light and sponsored by CareSource.
Weeknights at 6 on The Fan.
When an orthopedic injury or condition gets in the way of life, there is nothing more important than finding a physician you can trust. At Orthopedic One, you'll find Central Ohio's most trusted team of orthopedic experts, ready to listen to your concerns and work with you toward the best possible outcome. In fact, more people trust Orthopedic One than any other practice in Central Ohio. Start with the specialists. Start with orthopedic1.com.
Huntington is banking that just clicks. Like asterisk-free checking, an account that's filled with features, but no monthly maintenance fee, no matter what. Because it's your money, right? So we think you should keep it. It's just one more way we're looking out for people every day. Is your bank looking out for you? Maybe it's time to switch. Visit your neighborhood Huntington branch or make the switch at huntington.com/yourmoney.
Spring into a new vehicle at Crown Automotive Group of Dublin. Luxury, power, and adventure, all waiting for you. Explore our vast selection of exquisite Mercedes-Benz, the all-new rugged Ineos Grenadier, and the powerful lineup of Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram vehicles. Crown Automotive Group in Dublin is the only dealership in Columbus awarded a J.D. Power Dealer of Excellence for the customer sales experience. Visit Crown Automotive Group of Dublin on Perimeter Drive in Dublin or online at crowncarsdublin.com. Crown Automotive Group, the better